So let's just move on then to routine versus habits. Okay. Now, over time, as daily routines become second nature, the discipline of the routine will create a habit. So to start with, you might need to build a routine which is not something you do consciously, whereas a habit is something that almost um, happens unconsciously. So let's take, for example, um, well, you, most people assume, for example, that these two are interchangeable. But a habit is done without thought, whereas a routine requires a series of frequent behaviors, and it's intentional and it's repeated. Now, a behavior has to be regularly performed before it becomes a habit. Routines are uncomfortable and require a concerted effort. For example, waking up early in the morning or meditating for 10 minutes every night, for instance, are rituals. Initially, they are hard to keep up, but habits are so ingrained in our life that it feels strange not to do them. So, for example, imagine not brushing your teeth in the morning or before bed, or drinking a coffee or not drinking a coffee with breakfast. If these are habits that have already formed, avoiding them is going to make you feel bad. So to attempt to turn a routine into a habit, you'll need to take a few steps. Okay, so I'm going to put those steps are. First of all, set your intentions. So write down now, what are your habits that you'd like to choose, and be realistic. Okay, so reflect on what and why. What are you trying to achieve, and why are you trying to achieve it? Let's say, for example, your goal is to be a published author. Maybe you want to publish a little bit. What's the reason behind that? Is it for fame? Is it for prestige? Is it for self-gratification? Is it for money? What is it? What is it that is motivating you? Is it acceptance or love from someone you care about? Or, what is it that's making you uh, want that routine or habit eventually? Because understanding the why will help you stay motivated when those roadblocks which come, which are inevitable, um, show themselves. The second thing is to practice every day. Um, that means that in order for something that's a routine to become a habit, it takes time. It can take as long as a year, maybe, but it can be quite quick. And it can take a long time to create a habit. For example, to wake up earlier in the morning so that you can start earlier, because most of us will find ourselves more productive in the early part of the day than the late part of the day. So if you can move your time earlier, to start with, if you're a sort of night owl, as they say, then it's very hard to change that. So you'll have to do it consistently, waking up early and sleeping early in order to create the habit. But once you've created that, then you can do that. So choose some simple habits that you want to do. Perhaps you're preparing for an exam like the FRCR, and you want the habit to get some quiet time before you go to work, because in the evening, perhaps up to 7 or 8, you're busy with the family, or and then by 9, when you want to get preparing, you're just absolutely tired. So then it's better to move your day to the earlier part of the day, where you know that no one's going to disturb you. You're going to be able to just get on and practice, or do some work, some rapid reporting packets, or whatever. You've got to start. You've got to um, you've got to set a habit that will that you can use. Um, Now, so number one, we did. Number two now is about handling roadblocks, but because you're gonna face it, okay? Roadblocks will come. So first of all, you're gonna make it easy. You're more likely to form new habits when you clear the obstacles that stand in our way. For example, if you want to get a habit of going to the gym, You've got to maybe pack your gym bag the night before and leave it by the door so that you know you make it easy to go to the gym. Um, people are if for example you want to start preparing for an exam, you might want to make it a habit to perhaps the night before to have the computer on, or I mean, I don't know how energy efficient it is, but something that's going to get you going. Okay. Maybe it is about switching off browsers or, moving your phone and keeping it away from you, not having your phone near you. That is a good habit to have, so that you can't get disturbed. And usually you're less disturbed in the morning anyway than the evening. So I don't know how many of you are an early bird and how many of you are late owls. So um, if you can put that in the chat, that could be very good. Um, Secondly, make a schedule. So block out times on your calendar. Um, don't overdo it, but we use the term in revised radiology in our team of having a default diary. And so in order having a default diary, writing out how the day will look every day, that can help you to form a habit. Start small. It's not easy to go guns blazing. You've got to start with tiny habits to make the new habit as easy as possible. So, for example, if you want to start walking, might just start with a daily short walk, and that might be the beginning of an exercise habit. And then the other thing you could do is combine habits, where you might have an existing positive habit, and then you bundle them together. So I do that. So for example, when I report on a treadmill. So I walk while I report. I know many of you might find that strange, but it's absolutely possible. And if you do a little search about radiology treadmill desk, I think you'll find a few articles around it. But you could be exercising while reporting, and you don't even know that you're walking. It's become a habit. Or you could, when you're in the gym, you could be listening to a podcast or listening to something useful um, when they're on a treadmill, and then you're combining two habits together. And the third step, I think, is motivation. I think this is where a lot of people fail. Okay, now one of the things that I do for in terms of motivation is that I've hired a coach. So I have a coach, David Savage, who's many of you know probably, um, and he is my coach. And I meet with him once a week, and he motivates me. Okay, or you could just have friends that can hold you accountable. You can tell others that you're going to begin to start practicing a new behavior. For example, you might want to learn a new language. Um, it's amazing when you tell other people how uh, just telling people that you're going to do it makes it go forward. And other people can ask you, how is it going with this new habit that you're creating? And then there's visualization and affirmation. This is something where you visualize yourself performing or behaving in a particular way in a particular situation. And the more you visualize and imagine yourself acting as if you already had the new habit, the more rapidly that new habit becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind. The other thing is to create an affirmation, and you can put that up on your wall if you like. And this is about repeating to yourself. So, for example, you might just say, and you tell your friends as well, I get up at 6:30 a.m. every morning, and you repeat that, and you tell other people about it, and then after some time, it's no problem. The clock automatically starts. You probably even don't need an alarm, because you automatically wake up minutes before. I'm sure you guys have noticed that when you don't have an alarm and you still can wake up. And then finally, I think really important is to reward yourself with a reward of some kind for practicing the new behavior. And I think each time you reward yourself, you reaffirm and reinforce the behavior. And you begin to associate it at an unconscious level the pleasure of the reward with the behavior you associate the two. Okay, so that's why I think you need to have those two. Now we're finished now. I'd say the good habits, they're very hard to develop. They're easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to develop, but as most of you know, they're hard to live with. And the habits you have and um, the habits you have and will determine almost everything you achieve or fail to achieve. Okay. So I just want to acknowledge Asha, who is one of our team members, who's helped us with this presentation as well, just formatting it and creating some content. But and these are things which we all need, whether it's in life or career. Um, you'll find that, for example, if you create a habit around preparation for the exams, that habit is going to help you later as a consultant or in your consultant life, where if many of you are consultants already, and will also help you in just life generally. You know, there may be habits you want to create to do with with family life.